Hey everyone, my name is Joe DiPasquale. I'm CEO of Regroup. Regroup is one of the companies that was selected for the Entrepreneurship and Residence program this year. And the Entrepreneurship and Residence program is the program that was started by the mayor's office that matched innovative companies with departments within the city of San Francisco to create new and noteworthy GovTech products. So what Regroup created in partnership with the Department of Emergency Management was what would be the first ever early earthquake warning system for the city, in the US, but specifically for the city of San Francisco. So we'll talk a little bit about why this is noteworthy. It's a virtual certainty that we will experience a very strong earthquake. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. This map shows that there's the likelihood, and essentially it's considered a greater than 99% likelihood that there will be an earthquake stronger than the Loma Prieta quake of '89, which killed about 50 people, destroyed sections of the Bay Bridge and other highways, created a lot of damage, and one of the largest natural disasters in the US was in 1906 in San Francisco when an earthquake basically decimated the city. In San Francisco specifically, the reason the city is especially susceptible is because, lucky us, we rely on two fault lines, San Andreas and Hayward faults. So in California, there's more than a 99% chance, but San Francisco may or may not happen, but we're on two fault lines. So let's see. So we worked with the city of San Francisco and the Department of Emergency Management to do two things. One is create, again, what would be a prototype of the first early earthquake warning system. And the second really high priority initiative that they had was to do these things in a way that would be multiple language, that would send out in multiple languages. And that's because the city of San Francisco has actually a city ordinance that requires that official communications are done in English, Spanish, Chinese, and Tagalog. For equal access, a high percentage of residents do not speak English at home or as a first language. But currently, the city of San Francisco does not send out emergency messaging in any language other than English. So this Regroup was tasked with working with them on these two things. A little bit about Regroup. So Regroup is a company I founded 8 years ago. I was a graduate student at Stanford. The administration had a need to communicate in other ways other than email with students. So students at the time, this was 2006, obviously already using text messaging, using social media like Facebook and Twitter. And so Regroup is now the leading mass communications platform for large organizations. We work with hundreds around the US, government, schools, companies. We've made a conscious choice to get into the GovTech space. And actually I've worked with San Francisco for a couple years on business continuity solutions and day-to-day messaging, but it was just this year through the EIR program that we started working with them on emergency messaging. We also, for this project of early earthquake warnings, partnered with the US Geological Survey's Shake Alerts program. So this is pioneered by 3 universities, including Berkeley. And what it does is it does monitoring through federally funded seismometers placed on fault lines of earthquake activity. So in the case of the Napa quake, it could tell you that in San Francisco, there's about 15 seconds of lead time that there would be an earthquake. And of course, the technology is getting better every year, but essentially it says an earthquake has started, it's 15 seconds away, which Napa is, but in the case of a stronger earthquake or one with a further away epicenter, there would be more lead time. And I meant to go forward one slide to show you what that looks like. But essentially that's an example of a desktop alert system that's been created by the Seismological Lab at Berkeley that, I'll go to the next slide, that we worked with to use their monitoring software to integrate a notification software. So essentially we reverse engineered the product over the last 9 months to be able to, for the first time, crack into it and then seamlessly and instantly send out a text and a voice message so that things can be done. And you may say 15 seconds is not a lot of time, but it is enough time, for example, to do things like open fire doors, tell children or the elderly to get in a more secure spot, turn off gas burners, alert hospitals that doctors should take their scalpels out of patients, that sort of thing. There's important things that can be done in even 15 seconds. So here's a little bit about what the text messages look like. Essentially, it would let you know that an earthquake is approaching. within a certain time, what the shake intensity is expected. It'll let you know that what you're feeling is not a bomb, it's an earthquake. It's something that you can alert your family, and it can tell you about aftershocks and that sort of thing as well as they come. Next slide, please. And then also because we've worked through these messaging with the Department of Emergency Management, we can, for the first time, put them in the multiple languages of English, Spanish, Chinese, and Tagalog, and not only textbook voice messaging, again, for equal access. Perhaps you prefer voice to text. This will also help deaf and blind people, for example. So Regroup worked with the Department of Emergency Management to create what would be the first ever early earthquake warning system, and for the city of San Francisco, the first time that they would send out messaging in multiple languages. What the next steps are here is that San Francisco is looking into deploying these for a group of employees who are well educated about the space as a means of testing it, and then moving on from there eventually to residents. If you have any questions about this, I'll be over there and would love to speak further. I've also put our Department of Emergency Management contact up here. I want to also thank Dharmishta and Ashley and Code for America for putting this on. There are not enough of these things, and I would invite any of you guys to send me a friend request on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. I'd love to talk about these things, or follow Regroup anyway there as well. But thanks so much. I appreciate it. That's Regroup. Thank you.